Hey guys, Ron here, and a couple of months ago I released a video in which I theorized about the reasons why each Pokemon without an evolutionary family doesn't have an evolved form, cause the obvious answer, which is that Game Freak doesn't want them to evolve, is not a fun answer. I went through Gens 1 to 4 in the previous video, and today we'll be looking at good old Unova, Kalos, and Alola. In the last part, we basically concluded that Pokemon who don't evolve are fully capable of defending against predators and finding prey, and don't really need any additional form in order to survive. Of course, I'm combining real-world natural selection and Pokemon evolution in vague ways, so just go with the flow. It's just a thought exercise in which I describe all the cool ways these Pokemon live in their world, excluding legendaries and mythicals, of course. Now let's start with Audino, not because I like it or anything, but because she's the first in Pokedex order. I mean, they're pretty nice too. An easy answer as to why this Pokemon doesn't need to evolve is because what Pokemon would eat this thing in the wild? It's too cute and big, but that's a major cop-out, and probably not why. A good reason that links its actual abilities to the reason it has survived without evolving is how this Pokemon's sense of hearing is like a radar. It knows what's surrounding it at all times, so no predator can sneak up on it, and it can easily find food. It's also heavily domesticated, so it has a nice city life, although they truly do live all over Unova. Throw and Sock have perfect defenses, and considering they're hard and sturdy, even if they were to be attacked by surprise, it really wouldn't do much to them. And they can obviously fight back, so from a survival standpoint, they're already perfect. I mean, they're pretty much more humanoid than 99% of Pokemon, so they're already as evolved as humans, and nobody's asking why Cynthia hasn't evolved yet. Basculin is super aggressive and technically has evolved into two separate species. They're so violent that members of both species don't usually commingle, so why would any other Pokemon want to be near it? If a school of Basculin appears, all other Pokemon except for the equally violent Crawdaunt leave. That's a fact stated in the Pokedex, by the way, not a theory. Any predator coming to eat them is definitely biting off more than they can chew, so it's not worth fishing for a Basculin in the first place. And they will eat anything, so their survival is ensured. Maractus is another case of how the Pokemon games describe the survival methods of Pokemon who don't evolve, allowing me to further speculate how a lot of Pokemon without evolutionary families don't evolve because they have master strategies against predators and prey. Maractus' strategy is twofold. First, it's able to drive away bird Pokemon with its song and dance, using its maracas to surprise the Pokemon that prey on it and its seeds, but just in case that doesn't work, it's able to release its seeds and run away while its predators distractedly eat the seeds. It ain't perfect, but it's a difference between Maractus and Cacnea, who needs an evolution. Sigilyph are apparently centuries old. They have long lifespans and were used to guard ancient cities and attack invaders, so if they protect and attack, there's definitely no drawback. They've survived this way for a long time, so change isn't necessary. Emolga isn't hard to explain either. Have you battled an Emolga? It's not a good time. Volt Switch and ground immunity are great defenses, but in the wild, when you can fly away from any land predator and shock any bird in the sky, you'll be as happy as an Emolga. Alomomola has the ability to heal wounds. Not only that, but heals injured Pokemon too. What idiot Pokemon would attack the Nurse of the Sea, especially when it has such high HP? Okay, what's the rhyming today? Turns out many water Pokemon hang out with their faithful doctor Alomomola, so this sunfish always has a big posse of full health Pokemon around her. Once again, only an idiot Pokemon would want to mess with an Alomomola with a Gyarados nearby. Cryogonal doesn't have any predators. Come on, what backwards life form would hunt down ice? There ain't no meat on this snowflake, and if this snowy stop sign wants to get grub, it just instantly freezes its prey. I mean, I don't even know if it has prey. Regardless, life is easier than you think for Cryogonal. Stunfisk actually has a reason for looking the way it does, and that's primarily why it doesn't need to evolve. It hides in mud and shocks whatever steps on it, like a landmine. A very ugly landmine. It has a foolproof plan for catching prey and hiding from predators. Druddigan has crazy hard skin, lives in secluded caves, catches digging prey, and has no predators, cause it's a frickin' dragon, dude. There's literally no reason for this Pokemon to evolve, at least biologically. Bouffalant doesn't really need an answer. It's as strong as tons of fully evolved Pokemon, as big as fully evolved Pokemon, and as tough. What do you want from it? Just pretend it's already in evolved form so we can get on with it. Wow, I'm pretty aggressive today. I'm sorry for that. Heatmore is a perfect Durant-eating machine. It has a steady supply of easy-to-cook steel ants, and since ants multiply like crazy, I don't think this Pokemon is running out of food anytime soon. And who the hell's gonna eat an anteater? While Durant has an obvious flaw, which is that it has no defenses against its natural predator, Heatmore, it's completely invulnerable to almost any other predator. It has lived so long without evolving because there's so many of them, and they've developed the ultimate armor. They're crazy durable. I mean, it's in the name. They have high attack, high defense, and are fast as, well, ants. You know how ants can support like 5,000 times their body weight. Well, these bugs are 72 pounds. That's 36,000 pounds of resistance. So the only thing that can defeat them is fire. And that's everybody's weakness, so I'm not blaming them. Since Furfrou is the most domesticated dog Pokemon, perhaps it's relatively a new breed. For centuries, they were guardians to kings, so an evolution wasn't necessary. They were fully beloved the way they currently are. Hawlucha is a fully capable fighter with a flawless escape method if it chances upon a much stronger foe. You want to know what that flawless escape method is? It can fly. What other naturally occurring fighting type can fly? And the thing is, it doesn't need to, since Hawlucha has been stated to keep up with big bruisers like Machamp and Hariyama, so it's already as strong as a Pokemon who has evolved twice. Dedenne is a tiny mouse that can sneak into small spots and consume electricity. It has antennas that let it observe its surroundings, so it can't be snuck up on, and it can shock its flying type predators like Staravia if they end up coming too close. Sometimes it helps to be small. I mean, it's how mammal ancestors were able to survive mass extinctions. What's funny about Carbink is that it already technically has a species that evolved from it. Diancie is a mutated Carbink, but the reason these things have survived for hundreds of millions of years without evolving is because they live and sleep deep underground where the pressure is intense. Only Carbinks can live comfortably under such pressure. They have no predators and don't need any prey. I don't even know what they eat. Love? Yeah, that seems right. Klefki has technically also gone through a bunch of natural selection in order to look like a keyring. Its form is already perfect for doing what it needs to do, which is stealing and using keys. Also turns out, they eat minerals. Klefkis used to live in mines and eat metal, or at least metal ions, but once their diet became scarce, they began living in human settlements, so they were able to adapt and become what they are now. Do they eat keys? That's unclear to me, honestly. But regardless, like most of the Pokemon here, they have a good defense mechanism, which is to fiercely jangle their keys at any threat. It works every time. Speaking of time, it's time for Alola. Oricorio has already gone through natural selection to the extent that there are 4 different types of Oricorio. Their nectar diet has caused them to evolve into Pom-Pom, Pau, Baile, and Sensu-style Oricorio. Wishiwashi, as many already know, relies on other Wishiwashi to defend and attack. When they're all together, they're stronger than a legendary Pokemon. So with such awesome abilities, it makes no sense for this Pokemon to further evolve. Comfey's flowers bring out the best in people and Pokemon. The aroma of Comfey's posies have a relaxing effect, so there's no such thing as a Comfey predator. I mean, I'm pretty sure this thing has no meat, so why would you want to eat it anyways? It's also a skilled healer. It has a nice happy life picking posies and is actually unexpectedly strong already. Have you seen its speed and defense? Not bad at all, you goddamn posy picker. Oranguru is actually one of the most evolved Pokemon out there. It's possibly smarter than humans and basically spends most of its days meditating in the treetops. It's smart enough to throw Pokeballs and command other Pokemon, and stat-wise it's as strong as a lot of other fully evolved Pokemon. Same as Passimian, and unlike the lone Oranguru, Passimian lives in large groups. It's kinda hard to be in danger when you have 26-foot lemurs to protect you. Oh yeah, and they have helmets and balls. Fruit balls. They've come prepared. I see no need for improvement. Pyukumuku, on the other hand, isn't that strong, but its defenses are amazing for a cucumber at least. I'm kidding, its defenses is actually in the top percentage of defenses, and not only that, it can fight, startle, and even eat its prey by ejecting its internal organs like some real-world sea cucumbers. And if it just so happens to be picked up by a predator, its body is covered in its own slime, so it'll just slip right out of the clutches of its enemies. Minior also has noteworthy defenses, but also a 3-step plan for survival. Well, first, for most of its life, it lives in the ozone layer, where top predators like lions and tigers don't really hang out much. Although, to be fair, the predators that do live that high up are pretty strong, but that's what its shell is for. All it's gotta do is eat space dust and dodge the occasional Rayquaza, but when they start falling to earth because Rayquaza's extra hungry that particular day, or because their shells become too heavy, well, they still have a shell. So either it breaks on contact with the ground, giving Minior an extra life, or they manage to stop before impact and stay protected. But if they're attacked and the shell breaks, they are rewarded with boosted speed and power, so they can easily take care of their assailant and even run away if they wanna. The only problem is that the Pokédex states how Minior dies soon after its shell breaks, unless a trainer puts one in their Pokeball, where I'm assuming it grows a new shell. So Minior's life seems pretty hectic, honestly, but their lack of evolution may simply be from the fact that they came into existence from spontaneous mutation of atmospheric nanoparticles. Okay, that was pretty complicated. Komala, on the other hand, lives and dies asleep, and is able to act in an unconscious state, and even attack using the log that its parents gave it at birth. It even eats the coma-inducing leaves while it's asleep, so that's apparently enough to survive. Turtonator predator is a dragon turtle with a bombshell, or a shell bomb. Nobody's messing with it. Togedemaru, while tiny, not only has the spiky metal armor on its back for protection, but can also shock any enemy that dares to come near this dangerous ball. That's 3 perfect defense mechanisms all at the same time. Togedemaru doesn't need an evolution. Now Mimikyu does really make you realize how in Alola, Game Freak did a really good job with, at the very least, giving non-evolving Pokemon cool forms and abilities. I mean, any first attack on this Pokemon does no damage, and if you manage to lift the disguise from its cursed body and take a peek at its true form, you die. So this Pokemon, like Togedemaru, has 3 defense mechanisms, and the last one kills you. Only 3 more to go, and by now I hope you realize that just because these Pokemon don't evolve, doesn't mean that they're just filler Pokemon. Bruxish is as brutal as Pyukumuku. It uses its psychic powers, why can't I speak? It uses its psychic powers to stun any predator or prey and eats them up with those nasty teeth. Its skin is also tough enough to defend from spiky Pokemon like Marini, and its teeth are robust enough to eat said spiky Pokemon. This thing is already a monster. I don't want it to evolve. Drampa is already a fully evolved Grandpa Dragon. What other dragon type who is this developed gains an evolution? It's kind enough to make friends with any little creature or child, and ruthless enough to burn down the house of bullies, so what more can you ask for? And finally, Dhelmise. It's a ghost anchor. I mean, technically it's a ghost seaweed that is possessing an anchor, but either way, this Pokemon is actually one of the strongest in this video. It's actually, wow, it's that amazing. There's no pre-evolved Pokemon that is this strong. It's stronger than most fully evolved Pokemon already, so an evolved form would be, well, as strong as an entire ghost ship. Now I really want a ghost ship Pokemon. But there you have it, why I think all these Pokemon don't evolve. Of course, you may have your own hypothesis, so leave a comment and like this video if you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe and click the bell to know when other videos like these come out, and make sure to check the description for my Twitter, the t-shirts I made for you guys, and my Patreon. I'll see you guys very soon.